the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy.
That you got them days, Long Lartin block, Whitemoor block. I mean, we actually went on a dirty protest. I think it might have been 1998, Whitemoor. We had 10 on it. So they couldn't bring no one down off of the wings to punish them. They said you could smell the smell when we were leaving the wings. And they put all kinds of tarpaulin up to try and hide it. But they couldn't. They evacuated the top landing, so we couldn't get no burn. So they couldn't punish nobody. So I was taken out one day, put in the shower. Come out, I thought I was going back in the cell, but they moved me down the other end. They went and asked everyone else who was on the dirty to come off. The person who we accuse of being the ringleader is being selected for the special unit today, and he's going today. So next minute, I'm on a Cat A van, not Cat A, taken to the unit. I was selected, so they said, for attacks on prisoners and fucking staff was a load of shit.
So was this a CSC unit you were off to?
Yeah. I went to Woodhill. I went to the CSCs in 98. I didn't get out of them until 2004. So I went, Woodhill, you had to, at the time, it was only A and B wing which were in use. Hull was part of the system, but it was, they'd lied to the people who were there about what they would get at Woodhill. I think it'd be the same. So half of them come to Woodhill and ended up on A wing. They didn't get a fucking thing. They couldn't even have a pen behind the door, not to even write letters. They wouldn't give them nothing. So they started fighting with the screws. So he then brought Wakefield online. So you got 6 cells, cage cells in Wakefield, which he started to use for prisoners from the CSC. The idea was to stop prisoners going on lie downs, because some of the people there were suffering from mental issues, shouldn't have been there. And some of the people they selected when it was first opened was people who'd been in a block for a long time. So some of the people hadn't even done there nothing to be selected. Don't get me wrong, half the ones who were there had actually killed people inside. I got there, I was on a group with 2 people. One I'd killed, the other fella had just been in the block on and off for a long time. Other group, Bronson was there on a group with a couple of others. A couple of others were on a group. And so everyone used to go out on exercise with that group. You never mix with any other group. If they opened the other group the same time as you, something was going on. Something was going to happen. So they would actually set something up for something to happen. Because if they had someone down on the A wing level to move up to B, they had no space. They would cause problems and get someone to kick off, back them up, put them down on A and bring someone up. Then they brought C wing level online and the D wing section, which was the block, because E wing was above D wing. At the time when we first went there was a girl there for a week. I was something to do with the IRA, but they had their air there for the week and then moved there. And then they created a cell on the D wing, a cage, and put iron gates on so they could stand outside for people who were self-arming. And there was quite a lot of that on the unit. People were fucking putting up. And,
just for the viewers at home, the CSC is like the close supervision centre, isn't it? And it's,
that's it.
So it's like a prison within a prison. And this was for the more severe and the most disruptive prisoners, wasn't it?
Yes. I mean, it was a unit. When you come into Woodhill, you didn't reach normal reception. You come through the main gate, and then you drove through the other gate. And as you drove up towards this unit, you seen concrete sheep. Yeah. Woodhill had 4 concrete sheep between A wing and the unit. 3 of them were white and 1 was black, so I don't know what the significance was, but they were concrete sheep. So the unit was surrounded by its own cages. You had 2 exercise yards on the A wing level, 3 exercise yards on the B wing section, and there's a big yard on C wing, which at the time we actually progressed from B wing to C and then to Hull. But then they changed it and they moved the superclasses coming from Parkhurst and put them up on E wing, and then they moved them down onto C wing because Huntley used to get his exercise on that yard. Rather than put them on normal exercise, used to bring them over from the healthcare and put them on that yard. So your wings was like not cells on both sides. The cells were only on one side. It was open planned.
Right.
So you to be there. You come out your cell, you'd have 2 cameras in boxes looking down on each floor. There's a big one above the hot plate in a bubble. So if someone was going to get jumped on, that one above the hot plate would be turned off. So they could go in and wrap you up, give you a few digs in there. Every exercise was hammered up. The doors wasn't a normal door. They press a button, it'd come up in a little like camera infrared. And then you speak to it and it would open the door like that.
So you were on these units for 6 years, was it?
6 years. They tried to say that they put me out of it, but I didn't. I went from Woodhill to Hull. As you're aware, Charlie took a hostage there. Then I went to Gartree Block for a couple of weeks and then back to Woodhill. Then I went up to Durham CSC when that come on board as the CSC. I got kicked out of there, went to Franklin Control Cell, Long Lartin Control Cell, then back to Woodhill CSE. Then I went up to, I was on a protest. I went out to Long Lartin and then full Sutton, then back. Then I went up to Franklin again, twice, back for 28 days. Then my last one, I ended up going to full Sutton for a couple of months and then back. And then I got deselected in 2004 and went from there to actually Brendan, because the governor at the time said, if we put you back into the dispersal system, you're just going to revert back to problems. So we're going to see if Brendan will do anything for you. Now,
so
I was the first.
On the units, were you just getting like an hour exercise a day?
You got your hours exercise, but then some of them
would.
would.
A bit more freedom in that one, not because I know in the whole documentary, on that one, it showed you them. It showed you like they were starting to get a bit more extra time out the pods and trying to do different things with them, weren't they?
Hull was completely. It was different than Woodhill. Hull had 4 floors, but the top floor wasn't used. The 3rd floor was with the cells. There was only 8 of us there when I was there. The 2's landing was offices. The ground floor, you had a kitchen area with all cupboards, a little laundry area. You had your own gym. You had 2 rooms to watch TVs in. You had a room for used to do education. You had a library, computer room. You had a full-size snooker table and a table tennis table where they used to sit. You had your own exercise yard. You used to go out on a small yard, which was caged in. There used to be a workshop right opposite it. So you used to get opened up at probably 8 o'clock. You didn't bang up till, I think you might have banged up at lunchtime and can't remember. And but you were out most of the day. You just used to do whatever you wanted.
That must have been all right on there then, compared to the other ones, then.
Yeah, it was easy, but then they misled everybody. They come to everyone 99, and when it's shutting down, you're going to get the same regime here up in the Durham unit, which wasn't the same. It was completely different Durham. So I don't know if that was one of the reasons why things went pitong at Hull. And when we did go up there to the northeast, it wasn't the same at all. You had, after a while, you managed to get a gym on the twos, random where the pads were. Downstairs was the office, education area, survey where the cooking once a week from someone used to come in and do cooking. Education. You had a couple of staff on there who thought they were the big I am. You know what I mean? Saying, well, we've dealt with certain people before, we've battered people here before. They were openly admitting they'd I'd give kickings out. We can deal with it. Anyone was the attitude there, and I don't think it worked there, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because they kept changing the regime, not just there, but Woodhill as well, because it wasn't working. And I mean, half the people, as I said, shouldn't have been there. You had one kid at Woodhill, before they used to go out on a visit, he'd get a green starring pad and use it on his face and that to say he'd had a shower. That other kid would stand facing the wall in the cell all day long, not move. He wasn't right to them, shouldn't have been there. I seen one kid go down one day, get a flask of water, go up to the cell. He poured it over his head and he ended up going wherever he did. Then the other kid, who was, to look at him, you wouldn't think he was, but I think he was dangerous. He opened his face in front of the screws on a association and didn't make a sound. Fucking.
Oh, did we see this as well?
Pardon?
And did you see that as well?
No, I actually got told, but I was there when other people had actually done that things to themselves. But I had a kid. There's a kid next door to me. He was from Manchester, and unreal. He used to get the screws to the door and say, "Get down in that office, raid that bin, raid that ashtray. I want the dibs from there." He used to be on a cell bell 500 times a week. I don't know whether it was just to piss them off, but we should be like, "That fuck's sake, can't you shut up? We're trying to get some fucking tip." You know what I mean? It was just fucking daftness. You know what I mean?